Hi, I am Prashant Kumar PV, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, MS Engineering College. In this video, I am going to discuss another set of features of assembler that is called machine independent assembler features. What are the machine independent assembler features we can see? In this category, few features we will discuss. All are independent of the underlying architecture that the assembler creating object code. In the previous video, we have seen two features which are depends on the architecture where the assembler creating object code. What are the machine independent assembler features? There are 5 independent assembler features that we have to discuss. They are literals, symbols defining statements, expressions, program blocks, control sections, and program linking. First one is literals. A literals is a value of a constant operand as a part of an instruction. In assembler program, we will write the constant value as a string like LDA X05. Load accumulator, the hexadecimal value 05 is the meaning, but X05 is a literals. It is just like a constant operand, but its value is defined in some other memory location. A literals is identified with the prefix equal followed by a specification of the literal value that we can see here. So a literals is specified by using an equal, which is a prefix of the literal value. Let us hear how the data value is created by the assembler. Here you can see a literals is used in the instruction end fill LDA equal to C EOF, where C indicate a character, EOF is end of the file. End of the file is a constant value, so it's a character constant, and load that character constant EOF into accumulator. That is the meaning of this instruction, and the machine code generated by that instruction is this one. And how you interpret that, let us see. Here 032 is the opcode of LDA. So you can see here 000 is the LDA, and flag bits are 110010, where P is equal to 1, N and I are 11 means it's a simple addressing mode, and displacement is 010. And how you calculate target address? Look at, it's a program counter relative. So the program counter, before fetching this instruction, program counter contain 001A, that is a memory location. That memory location contains this instruction. Then after fetching, program counter incremented by the value PC is equal to, it's a 3-byte instruction, so 001D, that is the next memory location where we will store the instruction, where we stored the instruction. So displacement is 010, so here we need to add 0010. Then if you add these two, you will get here 0, here 0, this is 2, this is D and 0, so you will get 2 and D, so 002D. So that is the memory location. That memory location contain the data value of the literal CEOF. So 002D contain the data value. This is the data value of end of 45, 4F, 46. So this is the way the assembler will interpret literals. So what assembler will do is, assembler will produce the literal value as a memory location. The instruction code contain the memory location. Then from that memory location, we will store the data value, operand value of that literals. So this also another example. Here you can see that TD is equal to X05. X indicates a hexadecimal value, so 05 test device 05. So this is the machine instruction generated. Then from that you will get here only we define X05. Its actual value is 05. Data value is 05. The assembler generates the specified value as a constant at some other memory location. So that is the way the assembler will deals literals. So this is the instruction, machine instruction generated, but from that machine instruction you will get another memory location, where that memory location we will store the value of the constant CEOF. Then we can we can see these literals and immediate, the instruction belongs to immediate addressing mode. Both are almost similar, looking like similar, but how we treat this equation, this instruction, let us see. Already we understood what is how we treat literals. And if it is an immediate, for example, let us see an immediate instruction, load accumulator #3. #3 indicates the immediate instruction. So the machine code generated by the assembler corresponding to load accumulator #3 is 010003. So 010 we can understand it's a machine code of LDA plus the bits, flag bits, and 003 is nothing but the constant. That means the operand value is assembled as a part of the machine instruction in immediate operands, but literal the assembler generates the specified value as a constant at some other memory location. This is the difference. Normally literals are placed into a pool at the end of the program. So suppose we are using many literals in this assembly level program. So all the literals are pooled together and will place at the end of the assembly program. So end of the assembly program we can understand by using ENT as assembly directives. So after ENT all the literals will list. But in some cases it is desirable to place literals into a pool at some other location in the object program. So some situation the placing all the literals at the end of the assembly level program is not good practice. So what we'll do is we will place a set of literals at some other location in the program. So that we can do with the help of LTORG. So LTORG is a assembly directives which will help you to place the literals in some other location in the object program. When the assembler encounters a LTORG statement, it generates a literal pools containing all the literals operand used since previous literal. So whenever a assembler encounters a LTORG, then after LTORG it will create a literal pools. That literal pools contain literals since the previous LTORG. Reason is keeping the literals operand close to the instruction. That is why we are using LTORG. Otherwise all the literals from the beginning to the end of the assembler program will list at the end of the program after ENT. Then suppose sometimes you can see that in some assembly language program we are using the same literals again and again. So how to avoid duplicate literals and how to identify duplicate literals? The same literals used more than once in a program, only one copy of the specified value need to be stored. For example, in our own program you can see that x05 we are referring many times. So yeah, we can refer the assembly language program many times, but only one copy will maintain. And how to recognize the duplicate literals? So comparing the character string. So this is the character string. X05 is the character string. So compare the character strings defining. For example, we can use this one to identify duplicate. There is one option. And comparing the generated data value. Instead of that, we can use generated data value corresponding to, we know that corresponding to each literal there is a data value. That data value we can use to check whether the literals are same or different. So comparing the generated data value is better, but will increase the complexity of the assembler. For example, we know that CEOF, its data value is X454F46. It's a 24 bits data value will generate for end of file. So we can use this value for comparing and to identifying the copy, or for simplicity the same string itself we can use for comparing, but this is better. Using data value is better to identifying the duplicate. The problem of duplicate literal recognition. So star denote the literal refer to the current value of the program counter. So sometimes we will use in program equal to star. Equal to star indicate it is a literals, and its meaning is the star indicate the current value of the program counter. That means the instruction total meaning is load current value of the program counter into base register. That is the meaning. But suppose we are using equal to star multiple times and we are thinking all are same because the string is equal to star, character string is equal to star, and we are thinking all equal to star is equal or duplicate. But even though the character string is same, but data value is different, since the point by point program counter value, current program counter value will change. The literal equal to star repeatedly used in the program has the same name but different value because of the equal to star refer the current value of the program counter. If a literal value represents an address in the program, the assembler must also generate the appropriate modification record. Suppose the literals is representing an address, then that address is also a absolute address. So because of the relocation problem, the assembler need to generate modification record for such literals because it's suffering a memory address. And for dealing with literals, we need a table because in an assembly program there are many literals may appear. So those literal we will keep it in a table. That table is called a lit table. That is called a literal table. That is the data structure used to dealing with literals. So this table contains many fields. So I will tell you what are the fields. First field is literal name. Here we will write literal name. Then we will write the operand value. So I will write operand value. Then we will write operand length. Then we will write operand address. For example, literal name CEOF is a literal name. CEOF is a literal name. So, quotation within quotation. C is a character, EOF is a character constant. And what is its value? Operand value is 45, 4F and 46. This is the operand value. And its length is 3 byte. And its address is, in the previous program we know that its address we have generated as 002D. So this is the way literal table will fill. In the implementation of literal table we will use hash table, and key for that hash table is either you can use literal name or data value. Data value also we can use as a key to search the hash table, or we can use literal name. The implementation of literals, how we will deal with literal by an assembler. So there are two passes definitely required. Build the literal table with the literal name, operand value, length, leaving the address unassigned because the address we will get later and it is defined in the later part of the program. Since it is just like a forward reference, we will keep all literals as a pool and will place in some location. So we can fill the literal table with the literal name, operand value and length. So address will assign later. When LTORG or end statement is encountered, so when we identified LTORG, when we or end statement, when we encounter those statements in the assembly program, then after that we can find a set of literals. Then whenever we are finding a literals, we can fill the location. We can fill the address of the literals by using the location counter. Then in the pass to converting the instruction into object code. So whenever a literal is encountered, then search the literal table for literal operand and generate the data value by considering whether it is a byte or it is a word, etc. For example, characters EOF is a word data value. It has a word data value, but X05 is a byte is required. Then after that we can convert it into binary machine code. Suppose it's referring a memory address, then modification record also need to create for dealing with those literals. That's about what literals. Second machine independent features of the assembler is symbol defining statement. So far we have seen literals and how we can utilize literal. Next one is symbol defining statement. So you can use EQU to define a symbol. Allow programmer to define symbols and specify their value by using this statement. First is what is the symbol name, then EQU and what is the value. For example, you can see here max length EQU 4096, that is max len is a symbol, its value is 4096. So instead of directly writing 4096 in the program, we can write max length by using symbols. So we can improve the readability of the program. That is the one aim of using symbols in the assembly program. Second one is it is easier to find and change constant values. For example, I want to change this 4096 to 4095. Wherever I am using 4096 in the program, I need to locate and I need to change it. But if you are using max length, then there is a statement max length EQ 4096. There I will change 4096 into 4095, then automatically max length is equal to 4095. So everywhere we will get, wherever we are using max length, we will get 4095 instead of 4096. Example, look at another example. A EQ 0, A is accumulator, we are giving value 0, X is another register, EQ 1. So RMO is an instruction where we can use A and X because the operand of RMO is always numbers. But second machine independent features of the assembler is symbol defining statement. So far we have seen literals and how we can utilize literals. Next one is symbol defining statement. So you can use EQU to define a symbol. Allow programmer to define symbols and specify their value by using this statement. First is what is the symbol name, then EQU and what is the value. For example, you can see here max length EQU 4096, that is max len is a symbol, its value is 4096. So instead of directly writing 4096 in the program, we can write max length by using symbols. So we can improve the readability of the program. That is the one aim of using symbols in the assembly program. Second one is it is easier to find and change constant values. For example, I want to change this 4096 to 4095, then wherever I am using 4096 in the program, I need to locate and I need to change it. But if you are using a max length, then there is a statement max length EQ 4096. There I will change 4096 into 4095, then automatically max length is equal to 4095. So everywhere we will get, wherever we are using max length, we will get 4095 instead of 4096. Another example, A EQ 0, A is accumulator, we are giving value 0, X is another register, EQ 1. So RMO is an instruction where we can use A and X because the operand of RMO is always numbers. But we are using A and X, where A and X now are symbols and it has a value. Also we can use equations, expressions we can use. Max length EQU buffer and minus buffer. So it's an expression and its value is assigned to max length. See another assembly directive is ORG, and ORG allows the assembler to reset the PC to a value. For example, this is the usage of syntax of ORG value. When ORG is encountered, the assembler resets its location counter to the specified value. ORG will affect the values of all the labels defined until next ORG because it's changing location counter value. That's why it will affect all the labels. If the previous values of location counter can be automatically remembered, we can return to the normal use of the location counter by simply writing ORG. That means suppose we are storing location counter, previous value of the location counter somewhere. Then if you are remembering that previous value, then we can return to the normal use of the location counter. That is use of ORG, because we can use ORG to define some data structure like table. and not discussing more about ORG. See, the forward reference is not allowed for both EQU and ORG. Meaning is, before using any symbol, it should be defined. At all the terms in the value field must have been defined previously in the program. The reason is that all four symbols must have been defined during pass 1 in a 2-pass assembler. See, look at here. Alpha reserved word 1. So alpha is 1. Beta equal alpha. That means beta is also a reserved word 1. This is fine. But if you are using beta equal alpha, but alpha is defined later, then it will create a problem. This is not allowed. This is allowed. That is what forward reference is not allowed for both EQU and ORG. Before using the symbol, we should define that symbol. So that's about symbol defining statement. So the next independent feature is expression. The assembler allows the use of expression as an operand. So the assembler calculates the expression and product a single operand value or address. So we can use expression. That expression contains terms. For example, a plus b, where a and b are symbols. A plus b is allowed. So the expression usually consists of operand, plus, minus, star, division, etc. Division is usually defined to produce an integer result. In SIC, or SIC, division is always produce an integer result. It will not produce a fractional result. Individual terms in the expressions are constants, user-defined symbols, special terms, example star. The star indicates the current value of the location counter, etc. is allowed in the expression. For example, max length equal buffer and minus buffer is an expression, valid expression, and this is another valid expression where 6 plus 3 plus 2 star maximum entries. This is another valid expression. The terms in the expression may be two category. It is absolute or relative. Absolute means it's a constant, it's an absolute value where it independent of the program location. Wherever it's a constant value is always constant. Wherever we are seeing a constant value, it is constant relative to the beginning of the program. So address label, star is a location counter. So location counter may vary from point to point. Address labels also vary from point to point. So that's why it's all are relative terms. An expression contains terms. Expression is also classified into two categories: absolute expression or relative expression. So what is an absolute expression? So only absolute expression contains only in absolute terms, or relative terms in pair with opposite sign for each other. This is allowed. Absolute expression contains absolute terms alone, or relative term in pair with opposite sign for each other. And what is a relative expression? A relative expression is all the relative terms except one can be paired as described in the absolute. That means they should be paired with the opposite sign for each other, except one term. The remaining unpaired relative term must have a positive sign. That's very important. So unpaired relative term must have a positive sign, and all paired relative terms should be having opposite sign for each other. No relative term may enter into multiplication or division. So multiplication or division you are performing, then there is no relative terms or absolute terms. Then expressions that do not meet the condition of either absolute or relative should be flagged as error. See, handling relative symbols in a symbol table. For example, see how we will calculate relative terms if it is involved in an expression. To determine the type of expression, we must keep track of the type of all symbols defined in the program. Definitely, we will keep it in the symbol table, all symbols which we have used in the symbols. We need a flag in the symbol table for indication, whether it is relative term or absolute term, etc. So you can see that a section of symbol table, return address. So we have used a return address. It's a relative term. So its value is 0030. Buffer is a relative term 0036. Buffer end relative term 1036. Max length a means absolute term. Its value is 1000. Then one absolute expression, you can see that buffer end minus buffer, and both are relative term, but they are having opposite sign each other. That's why this is a valid expression. Look at here, it's invalid. Why? Because buffer and buffers are same sign, both are same sign, they are not opposite sign, so that's why it's illegal. Here it is again illegal. Why? Because this is an absolute term, this is a relative term, and only there is no pair in the relative term, and unpaired, suppose we are having an unpaired relative term, should be positive, but it is negative. So look at here, this is buffer, and buffer is a relative term, so relative term is not included in the multiplication, that's why it's invalid. This is an example of a symbol table, and the remaining two features will explain in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. So we'll see you with the new video. Thanks once again.